Welcome to Naked Spirituality, a video blog series of sacred attention therapy and the Center for Human Awakening. My name is Rob Meager. For more information about sacred attention therapy, the Center for Human Awakening, and our video blog series, please visit our website at www.centerforhumanawakening.com. And center is spelled C-E-N-T-E-R. These video blogs support one of the center's core activities, which is collaboration and partnership with individuals, communities, and healing centers practicing personal growth and spiritual development. Our guest today is Edward Pike, and we will be talking with Edward about his healing work. And I will now bring Edward on screen. Edward, welcome to our video blog series. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're described, Edward, on your website as a, quote, transformational facilitator and mentor. Can you tell us and describe for us what is a transformational facilitator and mentor?
Yeah. So it's an interesting question because the job title, if you want, has been something that's been a whole journey for me. And I know many other practitioners, healers have that same dilemma. It's like, what do I call this? You know, this work that's coming through me. And you know, some people choose to identify with the practice or the course or the degree. And I felt after a while that I wanted to keep it as simple and as open as possible for people. So people that are not in the field, you know, who are just discovering this work can understand, and people who are in the field can also understand. And the clearest word for me was, of course, transformation. And facilitator, because as the work has developed and has simplified and has become more of a held space, it really is that my work really has become holding a space, and then in that space facilitating the transformation of those who choose to enter that space. So yeah, and the mentoring element is a mixture of, well, not a mixture, kind of a combination, I guess, of the traditional healing, holding space, facilitating, you know, the therapy side of things, the being in the ancient Greek meaning of it, which means holding a space, being a guide, and literally holding space for someone's own inner guidance to come through. And yeah, so those are the words that I've felt the closest and most aligned to what, you know, I truly offer. And it's been a whole journey of playing around with different words and trying to feel, you know, which one really resonated the most and which words that people really understand.
You talked about a journey, and if I can step back and perhaps begin at the beginning of that journey in terms of your background, Edward, can you share a little bit about your background? Because it's quite an interesting mix and synergy of things that have come together to be able to offer what you offer. Can you tell us a little bit about that background?
Yeah. So I guess the original background is actually fitness and personal training. And that was maybe nearly 10 years ago when I kind of entered that field. And so there was a calling to work with the body, I guess, to help people on a certain level. I did enter the field very much from an ego and greed perspective, as well as, of course, you know, the longing to help others. There was also the idea of, you know, the status and the body and the money, etc. And after a few years of working in that field, I quite soon recognized, and I was working with my own coach and healer at the time, I was recognizing the deeper longing in that space, you know, the deeper call, and seeing myself yo-yo in my health habits and seeing my clients yo-yo in their health habits and kind of feeling like, you know, what is going on? There must be something deeper.
Mm.
So I did a course at the time which weaved in elements of the hero's journey and shamanism and a bit of hermetic philosophy, and it was like, whoa, you know, this is exactly what I feel is missing in the fitness industry. So I kind of started evolving personal training into already a bit of a holistic spiritual mentoring element, with a kind of a business, I guess you would call it, called Love Fitness. And it was the idea of of bringing more love into fitness, more embodiment, more pleasure into this thing that has become this big monster, you know, in our minds and in society. And then that evolved, and I actually coming here where I am today, which is Crete, where I live. When I first came here for nearly four years ago, that summer was a deeply transformative summer because it awoke many things in me, and I really recognized that even the fitness element was kind of, I needed to let go of that. So then I moved to let go a bit of the fitness and moved into really life and health mentoring, which I called it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still very holistic, you know, and it was talking about all these different aspects of health. And from developing the work and from training, I'm now training in core energetics and doing some more training in shamanism, and also just the training of life and, you know, being trained by spirit, I want to say, and by my guides. I've kind of moved into this space where the body is still very much the big focus of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of come from all of these different aspects,
Mm-hmm.
starting from personal training and leading into a very different space, but at the same time still closely related. I keep coming back to my roots in a way.
Right.
I keep finding myself talking about the body, talking about, you know, health, talking about lifestyle, with a deeper understanding of the healing element, but also still at times very connected to the personal training roots, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I want to follow your lead in your mention of Crete. And I believe you said coming back home. And leading up to our connecting here for this interview, you shared with me how you had recently come back to Crete. And you speak of this place with such a passion. And what is the work you're doing in Crete? Can you talk about this place where you are and the work you're doing in Crete currently?
Yeah, for sure. Crete. So speaking of evolutions of the work, Crete is becoming a massive part of the work. It's becoming so clear why I've been kind of called here, positioned here. It's always been a very holy island, the Greeks call it. It's very spiritual, deeply spiritual. The energy is so alive. They say it's the root chakra of Europe. So you feel yourself drop into the body. You know, everything that's not in alignment just comes to the surface. It's a very transformative space. And I've been running retreats here for the past three or 4 years.
Okay.
And they're always powerful because people come from cities like London, where I used to live. You know, a lot of my community is in London. They come here and it's like, whoa, into the body, and everything that, you know, needs to be processed in the lower chakras like, fires up. And it's very powerful energy. It's very loving energy. It's very nurturing island. There's a lot of feminine energy, even though on the surface, society has been very distorted into a more patriarchal society. The energy is very kind of feminine, very motherly. You really feel Mother Earth here. And Crete is becoming a big part of my work. Like, it's becoming clear that even now there's a big turning point where I've been traveling a lot in the past couple of years since I've lived here, to London, backwards and forwards, doing a lot of work in London still. That it feels like I'm even letting go a bit of that. And the call is to actually bring people to the island, because this is where so much transformation can occur. And it's really, I call Crete the land of awakening. You know, people come and something happens where, I guess, the spirit is so present here that people just can't help but be kind of awoken, you know, to feel their senses a lot more. Everything from the light to the food to nature to everything that's going on here. There's so much, life that happens that
Now,
people get kind of awoken.
is it private sessions you do there in Crete, or is it predominantly group work through retreat-like experiences?
What I run here, face to face, here is mainly retreats. I also have a few private clients here. And then I work online. I work a lot online. So I do private sessions online, and I do group circles online as well. And that's run I'm mostly here in Crete, but if I travel, then I'll also run them from wherever I am. But what's coming next is there's a book coming out in a month's time called Awaken Your Nature, with photographs of Crete, using photos and words to invite people to connect to the field of Crete, but also to the field of you know, the I am, and to be whatever experience people will have, they will have. But it feels like it's a form of, I want to call it visual healing, connecting and transmission through imagery, and allowing the spirit of Crete to communicate to people, and to people to have an experience. And that would be like a first taster, perhaps, to then invite people to come and experience this island. And something here is happening. In the past 3 years, so many light workers have been called to the island. There's people working with the earth, people working with healing, people working in the arts, creativity, and lots of very switched on people. There's an amazing community of people that are deeply authentic and in their hearts and in their alignment. People who have a lot of similar stories, like living in cities around Europe and feeling burnt out, feeling like they weren't resonating anymore, and then coming here to heal, and through their healing to really kind of developing their work, I guess, in this sense. So,
is there a mission or a vision that you want to share through your work?
For me, my message, or the message of my soul, if you want, and what I've found a lot here, and I'm now wanting to bring to the world, is the idea of beauty, and the idea that life is beautiful. And I know that we often forget it. I've often forgotten and always seen the ugly in myself and others in the world. And through being here, through being in this sacred beauty, in this container full of divinity, it's really helped me reconnect back to the beauty of myself and of life in all its form, including in its crazy, messy, chaotic pain. Just really remembering the beauty that is life. So I consider it in a way that's my mission is to help people reconnect to that, to remember that the inner beauty, to remember that this journey that we're on is crazy and it's beautiful.
It's beautiful indeed. Edward, what can people expect when they would come to work with you, whether they connected with you one-on-one online, or if they were able to travel to Crete to be with you in person?
Yeah.
What could they expect?
Yeah. So the first, I guess, our main focus is connection. It's for us to connect, and to go from there. And in the one-to-one, and also in the groups and the circles, I work very much, I guess, we're from this space of unity and space of connection. We kind of enter a group field, if you want. And from that space, we allow whatever needs to arise and to be processed. So, it might lead us into just some talking, or some breathing, or some moving, or some dancing, or some shamanic journeying, or whatever really comes through in that moment. It can be, I say, tools that I've been using. Often it's just new stuff that comes through for the person. So it's really, this has been one of the struggles of defining the work, and also is one of the real strengths. It's really holding a space of unity, consciousness, and especially when it's a group, even online, but also even more face to face, and especially here in Crete. a real sense of unity.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that kind of field, anything that's, you know, not authentic, and we're still creating separation, still believing in separation, and all the emotions and patterns that come with that, kind of in their own way, through each person, they arise to be processed. So, you know, especially in retreats, a lot of holding space for sometimes deep emotional process, and in one-to-ones, of course, as well. So, and when there's the opportunity to work here on the island, of course, it's very unique, very different, because you can go and work in the sacred sites of the island. You know, I have, in some of the retreats I do, we actually go to some of these temples and we do some work there with the earth, you know, the spirits there. And that's another completely different experience. We work, you know, we might go and do meditation by the sea and connect with the sea. So it's a very different experience, of course, in the actual physical location. But I'm always amazed also by how intimate the space feels, even online, doing it through something like Zoom and having with people all over the world, you know, 10, 20 people, and just the field of the group that is so potent, and what comes from each individual is always quite amazing. So that's really what happens. And then the one-to-one is very similar, of course. It's even more intimate because it's just two people. Yeah.
Now, putting aside the majesty of the physical location there in Crete, Edward, at this time in the evolution of humanity, what are you finding is bringing people to you? What's going on in their lives or not that is resulting in people reaching out to you and wanting to join with you on this healing journey?
Yeah. The people that come to me I would always define them as creative, sensitive, and spiritually kind of aware, meaning they've had some form of experience or orientation throughout their life. So there's already a bit of an inner knowing of something. And I guess nearly 95% so far, people that come to me often through personal referral or through someone talking about the work. And what kind of pushes them over the edge, if you want, which makes them like pick up the phone or send that email, is often just timing. It's like something's been building up, a call, you know, the knowing that there's more to life, and then one day it's like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to send the email. I'm going to book the retreat. A lot of people that come to me come with last minute decisions. Even my retreats, which are planned 6 months in advance, will tend to book. You know, I had people book the night before, the week before. It's just, oh, I want to come. I'm coming. There's a lot of that kind of activity in my circle of followers, which keeps me at least to keep me in my faith, which has been one of my challenges. But kind of it manifests in its own flow. So yeah, a lot of people that come to me. Some have come, of course, you know, through pain, through separation, through some form of traumatic experience. But I wouldn't say that's the majority. The majority come because there's a call. There's something drawing them to work with me. There's like a knowing. Okay, I need to work with him. So the majority of people come through that, I would say. Yeah.
And Edward, if someone wanted to reach out to you following this interview, how could they get in touch with you? Is there an email address or a website?
Yeah.
That they could explore
my
you through there?
Yeah, of course. My website is www.edwardpike.net.
Okay.
And the email is simple as ed@edwardpike.net. Very simple.
Wonderful. Edward, we'll make sure that's in the scrolling credits at the end.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'll thank you so much for being with us today, Edward.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Lovely to meet you.
All love and blessings to you.
Thank you. And you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.